The Starship Academy's training halls buzzed with tension, laughter, and an unmistakable sense of superiority. Recruits from countless planetary systems moved with disciplined precision, their movements fluid, honed by generations of combat culture. And then there was Lyra Vance, the human cadet. Lyra had grown up on the dusty colonies of Titan's moon, where resources were scarce and survival often required ingenuity over brute strength. She had enlisted in the Galactic Defense Corps with nothing but determination and raw intelligence, yet in a room full of genetically enhanced aliens, cybernetically augmented soldiers, and battle-hardened veterans, she was a joke. The first day had been brutal. Her training partners, hulking beings from the core systems with limbs twice as long as hers and reflexes faster than light, smirked as she fumbled through a basic agility course. The instructors, while professional, raised eyebrows at her unassuming frame. "She won't last a week," muttered a Trinari cadet with 4 arms, tossing his practice blade lightly in the air. Why even let her in? Lyra didn't respond. She simply wiped the dust from her uniform, adjusted her helmet, and focused. This was her first day, but she knew the academy wasn't a place for excuses. It was a proving ground, and she intended to prove something no one expected. The weeks that followed were no less humiliating. During combat simulations, Lyra's opponents often underestimated her. A Vortani heavy hitter would swing a shock baton at her with immense force, only for her to duck at the last possible moment and use her momentum to throw them off balance. In hand-to-hand training, she absorbed lessons faster than anyone had predicted, combining her human instincts with tactical improvisation that caught even the most skilled instructors by surprise. But still, whispers followed her through the corridors. "She's lucky," some said. "It's just humans. They can't handle real combat." Lyra ignored them. She had learned long ago that confidence was quiet and results were loud. Her real test came during Phase 7, the Academy's grueling combat evaluation. Cadets were assigned to simulated battlefield zones, some recreating urban conflict on fractured moons, others mimicking space station breaches under enemy fire. Each zone tested reflexes, strategy, endurance, and the ability to command small squads. Lyra's assignment was Zone Delta 9, a derelict mining station orbiting a dying star. Her squad consisted of 3 veterans, the Trinari with unmatched strength, a Signan sharpshooter with cybernetic optics, and a Korath tactician known for his ruthless efficiency. All of them looked at her with skepticism. "Listen, human," the Trinari growled, cracking his knuckles. "Don't get in the way." Lyra only nodded. "I'll keep up." The simulation began. Artificial gunfire erupted, alarms blared, and drones descended from the dark corners of the station. The veteran cadets charged with practice aggression, expecting Lyra to fall behind. But she moved differently, fluidly, unpredictably. She dodged the drone's attacks with minimal movement, setting traps that used the environment to her advantage. When a plasma turret swept the corridor, she vaulted over it, landing in a perfect position to disable it with a single calculated shot. Her squad watched in disbelief. The Trinari, normally the first to charge, paused as Lyra directed them through a corridor lined with malfunctioning machinery, leading the enemies into a trap she had improvised on the fly. The Korath tactician, normally unflappable, muttered under his breath, "I've never seen strategy executed like this." By the end of the evaluation, Lyra had completed the objectives faster than any cadet in recent history, neutralized every threat without sustaining serious damage, and maintained perfect command of her squad. When the instructors reviewed her scores, the room fell silent. "Are these numbers correct?" one of them asked, pointing at the final report. Human Cadet Lyra Vance. 99.8% efficiency, 0 casualties, complete tactical dominance. It was unheard of. The Academy's top cadets typically scored in the low 90s, even veterans with decades of experience. The shockwave of her performance didn't stop there. Word spread through the academy like a solar flare. Cadets who had mocked her before now avoided direct challenges, unsure if they were ready to face her. Instructors began studying her approach, trying to understand how a human, seemingly fragile among alien elites, had achieved what no one else could. Lyra, however, remained humble. "I just focus on the problem in front of me," she explained to a curious Ignan instructor who had been tracking her movements. "I don't think about what everyone else can do. I think about what I can do with what I have." Her reputation grew, not through arrogance, but through results. Cadets began seeking her guidance, hoping to learn her methods. The very same ones who had laughed at her began standing at attention when she entered the training halls. But Lyra's ultimate test came not in simulations, but in the real world, a surprise deployment to a volatile sector where rogue AI units had begun attacking mining colonies near the edge of explored space. The Academy decided to send cadets under the supervision of senior officers to assess their readiness for combat in unpredictable conditions. Lyra's squad was chosen for this mission. The operation began under a cold, starless void. Their dropship descended onto a partially destroyed asteroid station, its surface pockmarked by explosions and debris. Rogue AI drones moved like swarms of metallic insects, attacking anything that moved. Lyra assessed the battlefield instantly. "The drone followed predictable patterns," she observed to her squad. "We can use that. Trinari, hold the flank near the reactor. Signan, cover the entrance. Korath, set up barriers along the main corridor. I'll take the central path and lead the AI into the traps." Her squad moved, almost in disbelief, as she orchestrated every movement. When a group of drones attempted to flank them, Lyra anticipated a trajectory, intercepting and neutralizing them with precision. When a reactor began to overload, she calculated the timing to evacuate her squad while sabotaging the AI command hub, ensuring the station systems would collapse on the enemy without harming her team. By the end of the operation, the rogue AI threat had been neutralized, and her squad emerged unscathed. Senior officers reviewed the operation's recordings and performance metrics in stunned silence. "She anticipated every move," one officer said quietly. "Every contingency, every possible outcome. She saw it before it happened." "Humans," another muttered, shaking his head. "I always underestimated them." Lyra's rise wasn't merely about her combat prowess. It was about perspective. She had never relied solely on physical strength or enhancements. Her mind, honed by years of survival against scarcity, had learned to predict, improvise, and adapt. The Academy, the veterans, the aliens, all had assumed superiority meant domination, that their genetic or technological edge would automatically translate to skill. Lyra proved them wrong. Months later, as she stood on the observation deck of the Academy, watching a fleet of ships prepare for interstellar deployment, she reflected on her journey. The laughter, the mockery, the disbelief, it all had its place. Every doubt cast upon her fueled her determination. Every sneer reminded her of the stakes.